to do that and post it on their page. I'm choosing you so you can put it on your page. Heifer. Hi business besties, my name is aaileyah and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because here we speak about all things fashion, entrepreneurship, lifestyle, and how to grow on YouTube. Today I'm going to be going into some very important information in regards to influencers and brand collaborations and why influencer contracts are extremely important. If you don't know what an influencer contract is, it's basically a contract binding agreement between the influencer and the brand that basically goes into the requirements, what the brand is wanting the influencer to do. So the descriptions, it goes over the compensation, the payment terms, and then the termination and the dispute resolutions. It's really going to outline everything that you're expecting as a brand that you want your influencer to do when you send out your product to them. Story time, just for a little bit. I really just recently hired my first, found my first influencer a month ago. And let me tell you, I had some issues and some complications, but it wasn't anything that yes, it was kind of something. It was some things that I left out of the contract that I should have put in the contract. For one thing, I did not put a deadline in my contract. When you are hiring someone as an influencer, you definitely want to make sure that you put the deadline that you want them to send the results back to you. I don't know how silly of it was of me to not do that, considering that if I'm working with somebody who's very busy and a big YouTuber, they have other brand deals and contracts to do besides me. And I'm probably like in line down here and they got all this to do. I was not even thinking about that. I was just extremely excited that I had gotten my first influencer contract because I had worked so hard to get it. And really, let me tell you, when it comes to sourcing and finding influencers, it's not always easy. Me being a apparel company owner, I'm looking for fashion influencers, right? And I'm looking for fashion influencers who are posting the type of content and that have a certain aesthetic that aligns with my brand. With me being a luxury brand, and what I mean by luxury is the type of clothing that we offer. The fact that I'm in the semi-formal type of niche, I am looking for an aesthetic that aligns with my brand. Somebody that is posting swimsuits and posting lingerie, it's not necessarily the best type of figure for my brand aesthetic, if that makes sense. So you really want to make sure that you are very strategic and very particular when it comes to looking for influencers that align with your brand. Now, if you are in the beauty industry, then of course you want to find an influencer that of course is posting beauty content, but maybe you sell a particular item in the beauty industry and you're looking for somebody that's really focusing on that item, like eyelashes. Eyelashes versus makeup is different. So there's different things that you possibly may be looking for on their Instagram page or on any of their social media page that you feel like would be the best brand presentation for your product or service. So that's my little story time. I basically just did not put the deadline. So this girl basically ends up sending me her product over a month later. And I needed it because I was basically in my launching phase and I was using influencers as a marketing strategy. Again, it was my fault. But the fact that I'm able to critique myself and I know what I did wrong, that way when I reach out to my second influencer, I know what to do differently. So I'm just glad that I was able to critique myself because there's nobody else to critique me as an entrepreneur. So as long as I know what I did wrong, then it's all good. Another thing that I dealt with was basically not sending enough examples of how you want the influencer to portray your merchandise. Again, if you're a apparel company, this is for you. You want to definitely make sure you send at least 3 to 5, maybe even 10 different photos of how you want these influencers to model your product. Because I hate to say it, not all influencers are professional models, okay? And I'm not saying you have to be signed to an agency. You just need to know how to model. You know, as of me, I'm not signed to an agency currently, but I know how to model. I know how to post. I know how to model. I know how to pose. I understand lighting. The images that this girl sent me were so bad. I was just embarrassed. Like, she literally sent me a photo of her head looking to the back. I'm actually going to insert it in the video here. And I'm like, what the heck am I supposed to do with this with your head turned back there? I need you looking at the camera. I need you smiling. I need you engaging with the product. You're wearing business attire here, okay? So I don't really know. She was like, well, you didn't outline that in the contract. You didn't discuss those specific needs. You're wasting my time. I have other things to do. So since she started getting all snazzy, since this girl has basically my merchandise, which is worth over $125, sometimes you have to learn how to bite your tongue and comply with these influencers, even though they should already know how to do what you're expecting them to do. But since they have your merchandise, you just kind of just go ahead and go with the flow and try to just, correct the situation. So instead of me sending her photos, I actually wrote a long paragraph detailing to her how I wanted her, what I wanted her to do. Because for some reason, the photos that I sent her was not clear enough for her to do what I was asking her to do. So basically, she wound up sending me the video and sending me the photos because I requested a get ready with me video and I requested 3 to 5 photos of her modeling the product. At first, I didn't even get the video, only got 5 photos. She claimed that she sent the video. Again, you want to make sure all of this is outlined in your contract, how many videos you want them to send and what type of videos. A get ready with me video with them actually putting on the garment as a day in the life is very different than a video where they are talking and reviewing, a product. Hey, I bought this from Ulta and it comes in this little cute bag and I got this and this and that. You need to be very specific on what you're asking them to do because some people don't get it. They're not as creative as you think they are. They're creative on their platform because they're being told what to do, not because they just created it in their head. Obviously, because why am I telling this girl how to pose? Okay. I mean, if you're selling a business look, you need to be looking at the camera. You need to be engaging. Even if you're not smiling, you can even do a serious face. You just need to be modeling. I'm not trying to teach you how to model. I'm just telling you how I want the aesthetic of the content to look, how I want your background to look. Do I want you to have any props? This girl, she sent me the photos and they looked halfway decent, of course, but she didn't do anything extra to fix up the outfit. And what I mean is, since this was a business look, she didn't add any earrings. She didn't add any purses. She didn't do anything to jazz up the look, to elevate the look. And so that was a bummer. So I was just very confused because I'm looking at your page and then I'm looking at what you're sending me, and what you're sending me is not adding up. And so it's like, do I have to tell you that I want you to wear earrings, that I want you to get dressed up? Get dressed up like you're actually about to go to a networking event, like you're going to go to a business event. This is for a brand. And this is why I'm trying to alleviate anybody else's time from getting taken advantage of, because these influencers out here, they will literally take advantage of you if you let them. And so I am learning to make sure that you're very clear about what you want them to model. If you are in the apparel industry, make sure you're clear about what you want them to model. Make sure you're clear about how many videos, what type of videos, how many photos, how you want the photos to look, how do you want them to pose, Do you want them to dress it up? What the background is? You have to literally write down all of this information and put it into the contract agreement, because the contract agreement is what's going to protect you. When something is in writing, it's going to protect you, because they can say all day, you know, you're not talking to them on the phone. And even if you're DMing them on Instagram, it's not in the contract agreement. So if what you're saying to them in the messages is not in the contract, and that contract is what they sign, what you think they're going to go by? They're going to go by what they sign. And so that's what protects me, because you got my garments for free. And I did get a good deal on this because this girl didn't even charge me. But another thing that she did not do, where I got overall, she didn't even post on her Instagram page. Exactly, right? She didn't even post on her Instagram page. She basically just sent the marketing material back to me for me to use for marketing purposes. That was not the purpose of this. I got plenty of models to use. I wanted it to be posted on your page, like how all the rest of your collaborations are posted on your page. And I don't know, I don't want to say that this was a biased thing, but I kind of felt like she was taking advantage of me because I was a Black-owned brand. And I hate to say it, but I guess you got to be kind of, you know, skeptical with the white influencers. This is my first experience. I'm not saying that this is true in all cases, but it was mighty funny how her whole page is literally nothing but brand collabs. She doesn't even post a day in the life. Everything is her trying on something, taking pictures, doing a video. So I'm like, this is the perfect way to get my clothing out there on her page. She had a decent amount of following. She had about 45,000 followers, which is decent. And so I'm thinking that the odds of me getting on her page is high. She didn't even have the decency to post a photo on her page. Okay. And I can't really take her to court or anything, or even really request my garments back, because it wasn't even in the damn contract. I did not put the consequences of the contract in the agreement. And it's my fault. If the contract is a breach of contract, the termination and dispute resolution, which is contracts, typically include the clauses detailing conditions under the agreement can be terminated by either party, and the process for resolving disputes. This provides a framework for handling conflicts or issues that may arise during the collaboration, minimizing potential disruptions. And it was a potential disruption. The whole point, as me being a small apparel company, is to get my product out there. It's to get more people seeing my product. It's to build brand awareness, right? We want people coming to our Instagram page. We want people clicking on our photos. We want people engaging with our photos. We want people learning more about our website. That's the whole point. When you use an influencer, you don't want them just doing a video and taking photos and sending it to you. You want them to do that and post it on their page. I'm choosing you so you can put it on your page, heifer. So I was just really just frustrated, y'all. But I was just trying to hold it together because it was my first influencer, and I didn't want her bashing me online at all. So I have her photos and I have the video. So I'm just using what I got. You know, at least I got something. Now, I can't speak for people who have collaborated with influencers and they signed a contract agreement and they didn't get anything. Sis, you better go to court, because that's crazy. I don't know how much, I guess depending on how much your merchandise is worth. But, you know, for me, since I consider my business to be a very kind of pricey investment, it is kind of gonna be a legal situation if I come across somebody who basically scams me, but they signed the contract agreement. No, I'm either gonna get my content that I requested from you, or you're sending the merchandise back to me. It's one of the two. So I'm praying that never happens, because that's not what I want to happen. I want to have a really good experience with influencers. I've come across a lot of fashion influencers that I really do like. And so I just want to have a really good experience. But I'm just doing this video, even as a small apparel company. I felt the need to share my experience with you guys or people who are in the boutique brand clothing niche, just in case if you are currently dealing with influencers or if you're considering dealing with influencers, you kind of know what could expect, because anything that you think that could happen will happen, sis. These people will take advantage of you. They don't care how much you're investing in inventory. They don't care that we got a million hats that we're wearing. You know, I'm over here, I'm doing the marketing, the advertising, you know, managing the website, the inventory, the social media content. I'm even modeling for the brand. So I got a lot going on. And now I've taken on influencer campaign collaborations, which is another thing to do. So they don't know what our business is making. They don't know how well it's doing. All they know is that they're getting free merchandise. And so you have to understand, you have to protect yourself. Because you don't have receipts. You see stuff on people's pages, but you don't know people's history. You don't know people's track record. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. All you can do is go off of their social media pages and try to make the best judgment that you can. And I feel for the people that have gotten taken advantage of, but I'm leveling up my influencer contracts. I'm definitely hiring a professional contract writer, people who actually specialize in writing these types of contracts, so that way that they can recommend to me anything else that I may need to include that I did not think of. Because as you begin to grow and scale and you are collaborating with, you know, several influencers that you can't even count, somebody on the back end needs to be protecting you. Because once I begin to scale, I'm going to actually hire somebody to run the influencer campaign. I'm not going to be doing this. I'm doing this right now because I'm small. But once I get larger, I'm not going to have time to be going over these influencer contracts with these influencers and sending emails and then tackling them down, watching their pages, make sure that they follow through with the agreement. No, I'm going to hire somebody for that. So right now, I'm okay with dealing with it so I can understand the business. But you don't want to be doing this throughout your entire, it's too much demand. Running a clothing brand, a boutique, any type of apparel company is very demanding, because when it comes to fashion, it's like this. They want the next thing. They want you putting out more content. They want to see something different. Okay, so it's a lot of things that's going on behind the scenes. And so you don't need to be stressed out about influencer contracts. If you get a lot of influencers per month, awesome. But let's not get too comfortable with, oh, it's not going to happen to me. I've had 20 to 50 influencers. It's not going to happen. Let's not have that kind of mindset, because there's always room for growth and improvement as an entrepreneur, right? So I feel like anybody that is an OG, or even if you've been doing it for years, it's always room to make sure that you're reviewing those contracts with whoever's that's taking care of it on behalf of you, and also just implementing any changes or adjustments that need to be made. There's nothing wrong with just taking extra preventative measures, if that makes sense. So if you're an OG and you've worked with influencers before, and if there's anything that you'd like to recommend, make sure you comment down below and let me know. I want to know everybody's thoughts. If they haven't worked with influencers, or just how scary it is and how risky you guys see that it can be to work with influencers from both ends. I want to know you guys' thoughts down there in the comments. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. I really appreciate you here. Make sure you like this video and give it a thumbs up, because what that does is it shows YouTube that this type of content is appreciated, so that I can continue to make more of it. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I post new videos every weekly, and I look forward to seeing y'all in my next video. Deuces.